and welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you've just joined us, we have as our next guest Denice Grant, who is a graduate of HMI's College of Hypnotherapy, and her client Jeff Davidson, who came to hypnotherapy to alleviate some of his symptoms of essential tremors. Please help me welcome my guests. Now, Jeff, I'd like to start with you. Tell me a little bit about essential tremors and how they were interfering with your life.
Well, it was first diagnosed when I was approximately 12 years of age. Essential tremor symptoms are very similar to Parkinson's, but it's not the disease.
Sure.
It manifests itself in shaking of the hands, extremities, and head and neck.
So how was it interfering with your life and your goals?
Well, as a child growing up, it was very difficult, but more specifically, when I developed a fondness for photography and a love for photography, made it very difficult to hold the camera steady and take good pictures.
Of course. Now, what did you try before you tried hypnotherapy?
Well, over the years, I've been on a variety of medications to control what I'll call the organic causes, but prior to hypnotherapy, that was the only option I had. And I got into hypnotherapy and wanted to try it because I wanted to be able to control what I'll call the external causes or manifestations of the tremor, such as psychological problems, emotional issues, anxiety, whatever it might be.
Well, of course, because anxiety and stress can exacerbate any condition.
Absolutely.
So if you take down some of the stress and anxiety, you can take down some of the symptoms.
Correct.
So you were saying that you started with self-hypnosis. How far did that take you?
Well, I was into that for quite a while and still do it occasionally, but I use that to just help me relax in general and to fall asleep. I used to have a lot of problems going to sleep.
Now, you went and you found Denice when
Correct.
you had a little bit of urgency because you had something very special going on. Can you
Correct.
tell us about it?
My sister gave me a wonderful birthday gift. She provided me with a trip to the Galapagos archipelago.
Wow. And being a photographer, you wanted to take some pictures. But
Great pictures.
Can you take all that gear?
You can pretty much take as much as you can carry on the plane, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I carried quite a bit of it, but the problem is that trekking around on the islands and around the animals to take the time and to disturb the animals is not appropriate, so carrying a tripod and setting up regularly would be out of the question.
Oh, sure, because by the time you set up the tripod, the animal has gone to go do something else.
That's entirely possible.
How did you find Denice?
Well, I was inquiring about hypnotherapy and I was referred to her, and so I contacted her.
Denice, you know what? I've been doing this for a long time, and I just have to let everybody know I'm Denice's mentor. She is my mentee, and I wouldn't know what to do for essential tremors. I never taught you that. How did you find out about it?
Well, you did teach me that research is my co-therapist.
That's right.
So I went with that, and I did some research and found that on the Mayo Clinic's website, hypnotherapy is one of 3 major things that they recommend will help essential tremors. So I did a little more research on how to deal with it and realized it's a lot of visualization and imagery.
Of course. And since this is a medical condition, you were sure to get your
Medical referral.
good answer. Good answer. So you did some research on it, got your medical referral, and what kind of things did Denice do with you to help you be steady when you held the camera?
Well, she used a technique that she told me was called visualization, where I would basically picture myself, excuse the pun, picture myself doing things with the cameras, assembling the camera and lenses, setting up, holding it, doing everything I do with the camera when I was ready to take the picture.
So you'd rehearse it in the mind.
Yes,
Great.
and visualize myself being steady doing each of these things.
Well, sure. Now for essential tremors, what kind of an induction did you use?
Of course, with the first session, I started out with the classic inferred arm raising. And Jeff's very suggestible. It started out very easy, but of course, when his arm starts lifting off the table, it began shaking, and it was a little ineffective. So I did, it went moderately well. I could see that he was definitely induced, but proceeded, rather than push it and exacerbate the situation, I went to a progressive relaxation.
Oh, I love it. I love how flexible you are. And also, you had shared with Denice that you did some self-hypnosis, right?
Correct.
So you already knew that he had certain words and triggers that would help him go into the hypnotic trance. Now, my question for you is, after doing self-hypnosis for so many years, why did you want to go with an outside hypnotherapist?
I thought that I was effective on relaxing myself in general, but I needed some guidance on the proper way to use a technique that would help me become steadier,
Got it.
and sought professional experience.
Sure. How did you start cognitively with Jeff?
I asked him to describe specific instances where he had issues, which of course was the main thing, was the photography. And then when I gave him the suggestions, I took what he explained, and where he explained having the problems, and suggested that he can now do them tremor-free, very steady.
Did you use any anchors when you were there before you took the pictures?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, Denice taught me about the anchors, and I used 3 words and a procedure where I would just make a little ring with my index finger and thumb, or middle finger and thumb, and I would take a deep breath and say 3 words. One was relax, control, and steady.
So steady really became a powerful, affecting word for you that would trigger the steadying of the hands to take those pictures.
Well, and the control, me taking control of the situation.
Yes. But now I want to know about your trip to the archipelago. What was it like?
It was educational, informative, interesting, exciting, fabulous, wonderful, in just a few words.
What was the most amazing thing that you saw?
What I consider the most amazing thing is just the relationship that you could have with the wildlife, because I was as close to the wildlife as I am to Denice and you right now, walking all around, nesting birds, babies, sea lions nursing, all kinds of things.
And using your control and your steady and your anchor. What were your pictures like, Jeff?
Well, I brought one in to show you. I had many of them, but for me they were very exciting, and I noticed that the greater majority of them were of better quality, and by that I mean steadiness without the blur.
And
so I was
without
very
using the
pleased.
tripod.
Right, that is correct.
You know, what would you recommend to someone who is thinking of seeking hypnotherapy for an underlying medical condition?
Well, always you check with your doctor to make sure everything's okay, and then find a qualified hypnotherapist that you feel comfortable relating to, just like what I refer to as a bedside manner with your physician. So if you feel comfortable with the hypnotherapist who's truly interested in your situation and is interested in helping you and does the research as Denice did to really learn about what's going on, then that can be very helpful. It inspires confidence, and it did for me, inspired confidence.
And I want to ask Denice, many hypnotherapists who are sitting in the studio audience or even watching today are going to want to know how to research. Can you give us some tips if we're not familiar with something that a client brings into us?
Truthfully, what I do is just Google things in different phrases. You can say, what is essential tremor, how to treat essential tremor, how do people feel, psychological reactions to just anything that comes up. And I find that if you ask it many different ways, you'll find much of the same, but you'll find the little things that you need, the special information.
I love it, especially how does it feel to have this condition, so that you, as you said, Jeff, you can become interested specifically in that client or in his or her experience. Did you also research photography so you could get a little bit into his world and what his goals were?
Absolutely. I've had a bit of experience myself, but absolutely went through the whole process and didn't just say, obviously can't just say pick up the camera and shoot. There's a lot more to it, starting with thinking about it and planning. I actually took him to getting off the boat with his equipment and setting up. And
great. What was the most effective thing you learned in hypnotherapy?
Basically taking control of myself, if you will.
Yes.
Right? Learning to relax and try to eliminate, to the best of my ability, the external causes of or manifestations of the tremor.
I love it. Well, Denice, everyone is going to want to find out how to get in touch with you. and have your unique brand of hypnotherapy based on compassion, rapport, interest, and research. And we can reach Denice Grant on hmigrads.com. Well, it appears we're out of time for today. I want to thank my guests Denice and Jeff for joining us and sharing their experiences. And I want to thank you at home for watching the show. My name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll hope you'll join us next time when we meet more people and explore how they are using hypnosis today. Please stay tuned. We have a lot more coming up for you on HMI Web TV. That's Hypnotherapy Television 24/7.
Symptoms are very similar to Parkinson's, but it's not the disease.
Sure.
It manifests itself in shaking of the hands, extremities, and head and neck.
So how was it interfering? Now, Jeff, I'd like to start with you. Tell me a little bit about essential tremors and how they were interfering with your life.
Well, it was first diagnosed when I was approximately 12 years of age. Essential tremor symptoms.
Hello and welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you've just joined us, we have as our next guest Denice Grant, who is a graduate of HMI's College of Hypnotherapy, and her client, Jeff Davidson, who came to hypnotherapy to alleviate some of his symptoms of essential tremors. Please help me welcome my guests.